Hi, today we're going through CCM8, Unit 5, Lesson 4. We're going to solve multi-step equations and equations with variables on both sides. This is a very complex process, so we have a lot of steps. Step 1, first clear the equation of fractions and decimals. Step 2, use the distributive property to remove parentheses. Step 3, combine like terms on both sides. Step 4, undo addition or subtraction. And lastly, undo multiplication or division. So here you see an example already worked out for you. We have 4b plus 16 plus 2b equals 46. So there's no fractions or decimals, so I skip step 1. There's no use of the distributive property, so I skip step 2 and move on to step 3, combining like terms. I see that I have a 4b and a 2b. And remember, when you combine like terms, you always circle your like terms and you include the operation symbol that comes in front of that term. Up here with 4b, it's understood that that's a positive 4b because there's no minus sign in front of it. So I have positive 4b plus 2b, altogether that's 6b. Then you bring down what you didn't use. Plus 16, so I wrote it there, equals 46, and I wrote it there. Now we move on to step 4 and step 5, undo addition or subtraction. So I'm going to undo the addition of 16 by subtracting 16 from both sides. And then 46 minus 16 is 30. And then lastly, I divide both sides by 6. My answer is B equals 5. Now, I did a lot of steps here, and I could have very easily made a mistake. To check my work, I simply plug in my solution of 5 for the variable b each time it occurs in the original problem. So I have 4 times 5 plus 16 plus 2 times 5. All of that should equal 46. 4 times 5 is 20. 2 times 5 is 10. 20 plus 16 is 36. 36 plus 10 is 46. So it checks out. My solution is correct. My solution was b equals 5. Not any of this. So this is my final answer. Okay, I'm going to show you lots of different types of examples, and I checked all of my work to make sure it's correct. I'm going to move you through this as quickly as possible. So example number 2, negative 2 times the quantity of b minus 4 equals 12. The first thing I need to focus on is using the distributive property. Negative 2 times b is negative 2b. Negative 2 times negative 4 is positive 8 because a negative times a negative is a positive. Bring down the equals 12. Now I need to undo the adding 8 with subtracting 8. So I subtract 8 from both sides. 12 take away 8 is 4. And I bring down what I didn't use, which was the negative 2b. So I'm left with negative 2b equals 4. Now I just have to divide both sides by negative 2. 4 divided by negative 2 is negative 2. So I come back through here and I insert my solution into the original problem and I simplify. Over here, when I check my work, I'm going to use the order of operations to check my work. So I'm going to start with the parentheses. Negative 2 take away 4 is negative 6. Negative 6 times negative 2 is positive 12, which is what I should get. So this is the correct solution. I checked my work. Number 3, I've got 2x over 3 plus x over 2 equals 7. That's the original problem, what's written in orange. I went through and I said, oh my goodness, I have a lot of fractions. I don't like working with fractions, so I'm actually going to multiply my entire problem by a common denominator. The common denominator between 3 and 2 is 6. So I'm going to multiply every term in this problem by 6, and that eliminates my fractions. Here's how I do it. So I drew parentheses around the left side of the equation and parentheses around the right side of the equation, and you see that I'm multiplying it by 6. So I have to go through one term at a time. 3 goes into 6 2 times. 2 times 2x is 4x. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 3 times x is 3x. And 7 times 6 is 42. This written in blue is my new, simpler equation. I can very easily solve that now that I've cleared out the fractions. 4x plus 3x is 7x, and then I just divide both sides by 7. X is equal to 6. That's my solution. Now I go back to the original problem, and I plug in 6 for every place there was an x. 2 times 6, and all of that over 3, plus 6 over 2, that should equal 7. So remember, I'm solving this part, my checking part, using order of operations. So I'm going to start with the numerator. 2 times 6, that's 12. And I can do this step and this step at the same time. 6 divided by 2, that's 3. Now I just have to simplify this fraction. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 4 plus 3 is 7. So that checks out. That's correct. And then sometimes you'll have problems that have lots of decimals in that. If you're like me and decimals confuse you and it's just a lot to work with, you can actually clear out the decimals by multiplying by factors of 10. So I can multiply by 10 if I have all decimals that are in the tenths place. Here I'm going to multiply by 100 to clear out all the decimals because I've got some numbers here that go out to the hundredths place. So if I multiply every term in this problem by 100, I clear out all of the decimals. So this 0.5a times 100 is now 50a. 8.75 times 100 is 875. You see how it just wipes away the decimals? 13.25 times 100 is 1,325. Now I just simplify by using inverse operations, or solve by using inverse operations. So I subtract both sides by 875. That leaves me with 50a equals 450. Just divide both sides by 50, and I'm left with a equals 9. This is the correct answer because I checked my work.